Alright, ladies and gentlemen. It is Grimmark, the Raging Nerd, here from Guildhall Gaming, with an anime review for you today. This is my first anime review, so please go easy on me. I am not an accomplished reviewer, I guess you can say. I will hopefully get better at it. But with that said, let's jump in, feet first, into the deep end. Today my review is of Akame Got Killed. Now, that was in last month's Otaku USA. I'm pretty sure the better majority of anime gurus and anime enthusiasts and connoisseurs and whatnot all have heard of this, if they've not already binge watched it long time ago. And knocked it off their to-do list. But I got around to doing it because I have, like an idiot, jumped into other animes with insane amount of seasons to them. Like Fairy Tail, for one, 280 some episodes. So I took a break and have jumped on to a couple of different anime, this being one of them. And this is a huge thing for me to say this, but this particular anime rose to the top of my list as my favorite. That's huge for me. It is anyway. I mean, that's monumental. The reason for that is because my longtime favorite was always been Ghost in the Shell. Now, there's no particular reason why I like Ghost in the Shell other than the fact that I love a storyline that can keep going and stays fresh and has depth to it. That's my thing. I like depth of a story. Now, art and action and things like that, those rate pretty high on my list, but depth is always, and storyline always rates the highest for me. So while this one had a sort of menial, I guess you can say, storyline, it was pretty stereotypical bad guy, abuses, who's a king or an emperor, abuses his people, or actually this particular emperor thought he was doing the right thing. His underlings were abusing the people. And here comes along this underdog who thinks that he was going to take them down and make the people rise up and have a better way of life. So there's the plot in the storyline, pretty much in a nutshell. The thing about this that I loved so much was the depth of the stories between who you think at the beginning is the hero of the series, and then who you find at the end ends up being the hero of the story or the series. So from that said, this point forward, if you have not seen it, stop watching, because I'm pretty much going to spoil the entire series for you if you have not already watched it. So if you haven't watched it and you don't want to know anything more about it other than pretty much the premise of what the story's about, stop watching. But with that being said, you were warned, so here we go. The curveballs for me in this particular anime was how many people died that you thought, or by typical anime standards, shouldn't die, or in normal fashion should not have died in the story. The one person being Tatsumi, the main character, or who you think is the main character until you get about halfway through, and then you realize that, yes, while it doesn't come across a little weird that Akame, who's a part of Night Raid, her name's in the title, doesn't really come across as the main heroine of the story until about halfway through, when you meet the sister, who's a part of the Jaegers, the Jaeger team. You meet her, and you start to kind of understand how Akame is going to factor into this, and how her name's entitled, and how she's going to become the heroine of the story. But at the same time, Tatsumi doesn't kind of sort of fall back on in Akame doesn't really still take her spot as the heroine of it, which is weird. You think about it, like once you see the sister and once you see why Kami's the way she is, and you learn the backstory of how they were separated and how they ended up learning how their super assassination skills and whatnot. You would think that Tatsumi would kind of sort of slide back, and Akame would kind of become up and become the heroine and the main character, but she doesn't. There are large gaps where you don't even see her, and because there is Tatsumi, who's been, I wouldn't say abducted by the Jaegers, Bethesda, but she's in love with him, and she's pretty much kind of sort of obsessed with him to the point she, quote unquote, abducts him and pretty much makes her own personal love pet. I'll hug him and squeeze him and call him George. But yeah, so there it is. But yeah, it kind of weird how that happens, and Akame doesn't become the main character. And then there's the rest of the main staff. I want to say staff, yeah. The main crew of the night raid, who start dropping like flies. All these Imperial arms welders start dying, and you're just flabbergasted because, like I said, by normal anime standards, maybe one or two might die, but not the entire crew. And especially with Tatsumi, who, like I say, who's there from the beginning, who at the very end promised his love interest that he promised her he would not die, he would go on. And just when you think that's going to happen, he has to turn around and pretty much sacrifice himself in order to kill the Emperor and make sure that he dies. And he ends up dying in the process. And okay, like, you're like, well, what the hell? Where did that come from? Why he's now dead? He promised her, he was going to live. And you think by, like I said again, by anime standards, that because it's a promise done in an anime, that it's going to be fulfilled. He's going to live and move on and go back home to his village, and village will prosper and bring him all this gold. He doesn't. Home Slice dies, and his village is sitting there going, they're waiting for all three of them to come back, and he's not gonna make it. I'm hoping the general will send his body back at least, with a big bag of gold. But even the general, the person in charge of Night Raid, has pretty much sacrificed her life force for her Imperial arms to do its thing. And even though she's still alive at the end of the series, she knows she's going to die because she's given up the better majority of life force, so her time is limited. So the only person that's going to be left standing at the end of this whole ordeal is Akame. And she is sort of taken this role as she's fell on her sword for everybody. The general is staying behind to help rebuild the city and help rebuild the I guess the political system, the government, whatnot, whatever you want to call it. So everybody's looking at her as the good guy, but yet Night Raid is still sort of out there. So Akame takes this role as Night Raid, as the leader of Night Raid, and runs off into the shadows so everybody can hunt her, as to take responsibility for the Emperor's death and whatnot. And so the general can kind of slide in there and take over and do what needs to be done and rebuild the Imperial City. Sort of like Batman did in one of the Batman movies, one with Harvey Dent and the Joker, where in order for Harvey Dent to be the true hero of Gotham, Batman became the bad guy, so everybody would hunt him and let Harvey Dent take the role as the hero of Gotham. So that's pretty much what Kame's done. She's, ran off into the shadows, and, so that way all the responsibility falls on her, and the general can kind of walk through the city clear, and nobody knows that she was the leader of Night Raid and rebuilt the city. So anyway, there it is in a nutshell. So if you're still sticking around at this point after I've done spoil the entire thing and you haven't watched it yet, still go watch it. There's tons of things that I haven't said or haven't told you about that that you'll learn, like the fact that Tatsumi is not an Imperial arms welder, and he doesn't start out the series with what's called an Imperial Arms. Each one of the members of Night Raid have this special weapon, and it's called an Imperial Arms. And you'll learn the backstory behind those. He doesn't start out the series with one. He ends up I'd say about a third of the way through, he ends up gaining his. And when he does, it's through the unlikeliest of ways. And then he moves on through the story and, becomes stronger and stronger. So that's fun to watch as Tatsumi's development. And then, you see the story unfold with Akame and her sister and how that takes place. So, if you haven't watched it and you've stuck around and listened to my whole little rant there, it's still worthy of watching. Trust me, it is well worth watching, because there's lots of things that I haven't mentioned. So you'll still enjoy it by all means. But there it is in a nutshell. So I'm on to the next one already. I'm on to the series 100, which is rapidly becoming a stereotypical anime. It will probably not make my list of favorites by all means, but it's still fun to watch, and it's a short one. It's nine episodes. I could probably finish killing it today, I hope, given what I have to do or don't do today. So, but yeah, that'll be my next one. The premise of it pretty much is like a lot of other animes. There's these... It always seems to be teenagers with these super human abilities. They have these little stones called the 100, and they throw it up in the air, and it's kind of like Power Rangers. They morph into these super warriors to fight these creatures that come from space. And there always seems to be that one little skinny little girl in there who manages to eat her weight every single meal, every single day. Like it's nothing and not gain an ounce. And yet, for me, where are these kids' parents? There's these teenagers fighting these huge monsters in these superhuman suits and armor and whatnot, and there's not a damn parent to be seen. What? And this happened in Akame ga Kill. What is it with anime and its game of one-upsmanship? It is the eternal pissing contest, let me tell you. It's like, oh, you defeated my blah, 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 but can you defeat my super blah, blah, blah? It's like pulling out a handgun and somebody slaps it on your hand and you pull out the shotgun. It's like, beat this, homie. Yeah, it's that's the way it is. It's like, oh, you shoot, they'll shoot or something, or hit them with a sword or something, and nothing happens. They're like, oh, that didn't work, but can you beat my super ability? So that's... for me, is kind of fun. Nobody seems to be able to take an ass whooping and move on with dignity. No, it's like, oh, so you didn't do that. So okay, let me back up my super. Take that. So yeah, it's the anime and its eternal pissing contest is hilarious to me. But I still enjoy it. I'm still addicted to it. No matter what I say, I will go back and binge watch everything my brain will let me endure. I'm thinking, is it raining outside? I think it was raining outside. No. But, so there it is. Akame ga Kill review. This is my first review. And like I said, please pay attention to the future reviews of Akame ga Kill. Or, not Akame ga Kill, but future reviews of animes. There it is. In a nutshell, I will also have things on tabletop games. I just opened a pack of Pokemon, my new Pokemon breakthrough cards. I do not play Pokemon, but I love to draw Pokemon. For some strange reason, I'm addicted to it. And I just recently opened a pack, and my very first pack of breakthrough, I pop out there with a Pikachu. Go figure. I'm almost kind of wondering if that's like almost in every pack these days. And some pretty wild looking rares and foil cards like that one. But yeah, I love to draw them, and that's mainly the reason why I do it, and I collect them for that purpose. Hopefully one day that I can pass them on to my kid, which my wife is currently pregnant with. So there we are. In a nutshell, that's my deal. So I hope you enjoyed the review, and like I said, look forward to some more reviews. Like my channel and subscribe to it or whatnot, and so you can keep up with everything going on. All right, guys, have a good one and enjoy your viewing.